in with these forces, like banning opposition TV stations owned by Viktor Medvedchuk, who was the opposition leader, the effective leader of the Russian-speaking population, trying him for treason. But this was after these forces attacked Medvedchuk's home, attacked members of his party with rubber bullets while they were traveling through the country, wounding them, and on and on. So their agenda they kind of shifted Zelensky's agenda. And now we hear this propaganda in US media that Zelensky's Jewish, so there can't possibly be neo-Nazis with any influence in Ukraine. That's what we hear again and again and again. They're basically using Zelensky, who is this impotent, weak president who got rolled by these fascist forces and by the US, which was arming them. They're using him as a human shield, a human propaganda shield. They're using his Jewishness to cover up the reality on the ground and the reality that people in Donbass have lived through. And it's kind of disgusting when streets across Ukraine have been named after Roman Shukevich, the commander of the Ukrainian partisan army that collaborated closely with the Nazi SS and presided over so many pogroms. There have been stadiums and streets named after him, stadiums and streets named after Stepan Bandera, the founder of the Nazi-allied OUNB. He's a national hero in Ukraine. And you actually see Chrystia Freeland, the #2 in Canada, at pro-Ukraine rallies, the granddaughter of an actual Nazi collaborator, who is Justin Trudeau's #2, waving a red and black UPA fascist flag just weeks after calling the Canadian truckers Nazis and using emergency law to crush their movement. And she's waving this flag in the name of democracy. What complete hypocrisy. What a bunch of liars. The propaganda is just too unbelievable. And so finally, the situation on the ground today is very dire for the Ukrainian regular military. Their command and control structure was knocked out pretty much on the first day. They've lost control of the air. They're in complete disarray. Russia is rolling like a 40-mile convoy on Kiev. It's surrounding the eastern battlefront completely, enveloping the Ukrainian paramilitaries and military. So who's left? Who's really the main fighting force on the ground? Well, in Mariupol, which you mentioned earlier, Jimmy, this city that is near Donbass, which was taken over by Azov in 2014, it is under the complete control of these neo-Nazi forces incorporated into the Ukrainian National Guard. And there's video and testimony of them preventing civilians from leaving. And why are they doing that? Because Zelensky, who's the hero and who every liberal wine mom is now gushing over and having orgasming over and on their Facebook pages, Zelensky ordered all males of combat age from adolescents to age 60 to remain in the city, in their cities and in their countries and in the country to fight. And so Azov is enforcing that order. There's been video of them actually attacking civilians trying to leave Mariupol, trying to leave the fighting. And meanwhile, there and in the city of Kharkiv, they have started organizing average citizens, training them in guerrilla warfare and handing out lots and lots of weapons, small arms. What could possibly go wrong? And what could possibly go wrong when Zelensky, the hero of every American liberal, has called for the release of hardened criminals from Ukrainian prisons to participate in the battle and take those weapons? It looks like they're preparing for some kind of Syria-style situation where instead of the jihadists aligned with Al-Qaeda who are backed and armed by the CIA, you have neo-Nazis leading the battle, arming citizens, and weapons just flowing through the country to destabilize another country on Russia's frontier. I don't think that's going to work out, but that seems to be the US plan. And so it's totally cynical. They're trying to use these fascistic forces to lead some kind of civil war that would cause so many more deaths, so many more migrants, and so much more disaster. But the US regime is willing to do anything, it seems, anything, and to spare and to any cost and see any amount of bloodshed in order to take on Putin. And that's where we're at today.
Well said. I hope people know the rest of the story now. People are coming to this show for their information on Ukraine because everywhere else they go, they're getting lied to and they're getting propaganda, no matter where they go. And so right now our subscriptions are going through the roof, and our views are doubled. We're up to like 14, 15 million views a month. And that's because of this crisis and the trucker crisis. And no one else, even on YouTube, will dare go against the cult and tell the truth about any of this stuff. And that's what I really think it is. I think a lot of people know what's really happening, but they're afraid to go against the cult. So they mealy mouth and they can't tell the truth about this. So,
well, look at what's happening. RT is being formally banned. RT France was taken off the air today.
I'm going to talk. That's my next story. Do you want to stick around for that one? Because that's my next story.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to point out, like, anything that the U.S. regime, which includes the EU, can get away with, they will do now, and that includes banning state-sponsored networks. And so there are fewer and fewer places people can go to get a counter narrative, and this is just an independent counter narrative. But I'm sure they want to target you, and you are targeted. I mean, anytime I pull up, I'll search Jimmy Dore on YouTube, they'll be in the algorithm all of these random videos demonizing and attacking you.
That's right. So that's what gets pushed. So not my most popular videos. Not what gets pushed is the videos that are attacking me. That's what happened. That's how the algorithm works, baby. And I'm still beating it. Hey, we got more dates for our 2022 stand-up tour. We're going everywhere. We're going to Dallas, Houston, Florida. We're going to Omaha, Des Moines, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Ohio, and Los Angeles. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com for a link for all the tickets for all our shows.